Ready for some jaw-dropping drama? From shocking betrayals to ruthless decisions, John Dutton has left fans gasping in disbelief more than once. With his stern face and no-nonsense attitude, this ranch owner has a knack for shaking things up, leaving us all on the edge of our seats. Join us as we dive into the world of John Dutton, the hard-as-nails patriarch of Yellowstone. Let's begin with what went down in Season 3, Episode 7 of Yellowstone. It was like watching a train wreck. You just can't look away. So the episode was called The Beating, and man, did it live up to its name. So, the big guy, John Dutton, who owns this huge ranch, found out that his son Jamie had done something horrible to his sister years ago. You remember John's tough-as-nails daughter, Beth, right? So, back in the day, she had a baby scare with her boyfriend Rip. And guess what? She went to Jamie for help. But Jamie lied to her and arranged for her to have surgery that made it so she couldn't have kids. Ever. Poor Beth thought all along it was just an abortion and blamed herself for being unable to have kids. So, when John found this out, he was beyond mad. He stormed into Jamie's office and boom, the punches started flying. John was calling Jamie a monster and a traitor. It was wild. He told Jamie he was no longer his son, and you won't believe it, but he said he would kill him if he saw him again. Everyone was totally shocked seeing John's reaction. It was clear he was super upset and hurt about what Jamie had done to Beth. John and Jamie had their ups and downs, but this was a whole new level. This episode was a game changer. It showed how far John could go when his family was hurt, and it put all the family's dirty laundry out there for everyone to see. And then we can't forget about Yellowstone's Season 2 finale, Sins of the Father, right? So, John Dutton was in a super tight spot. The Beck brothers were causing him all sorts of trouble, even kidnapping his grandson, Tate. Can you believe it? John was running out of options and he knew he needed some backup pronto. Now, here's where it gets juicy. John reached out to his enemy, Thomas Rainwater, the chief of the Broken Rock Reservation. Yep, who would have thought? John was desperate to save Tate and was even willing to give up some of his land to get Thomas on his side. It was a jaw-dropper. John and Thomas, foes turned allies. How crazy is that? They had butted heads over land and power, but when the chips were down, John swallowed his pride and asked for help. He even called Thomas brother. The whole thing was like something out of a movie. This scene was shocking, seeing tough guy John making deals with his rival to save his family. It showed us a new side of him, putting his pride aside and teaming up with someone he'd been fighting against. This was a scene that showed John in a new light that had us all hooked, wondering what would happen next. Would this unlikely team-up last? What would happen with the land deal? It set the stage for a whole new wave of drama in the next season. Everyone was on the edge of their seats, waiting to see how the story of John Dutton and Thomas Rainwater would unfold. But there was more to this episode. Now, John wasn't about to let the kidnapping slide. With his son Casey, they stormed into a camp to rescue Tate. Things got heated, and let's just say, not everyone walked out alive. Now things took a darker turn when John found Malcolm all wounded and hiding. John, with ice in his veins, shot Malcolm again. He said he'd call an ambulance only if Malcolm spilled the beans on where Beth was. And Malcolm let it slip that he'd left Beth at his house, thinking she was dead after a brutal beating and a bomb blast. And here's where John left everyone stunned. He gave Malcolm a choice, a slow, painful death or a quick one with a bullet to the head. Malcolm, probably seeing his life flashing before his eyes, chose the bullet, and bam! John got him right between the eyes, cold and unflinching. It was jaw-dropping seeing how far John was willing to go for his family. We knew he could be tough and ruthless, but this was next level. He didn't blink an eye before ending Malcolm, who was already half dead and wasn't a threat anymore. John didn't show a shred of mercy. There was no line he wouldn't cross when it came to protecting his family. Even though we'd seen John spare a few lives before and show a bit of remorse for some of his actions, with Malcolm, it was pure, icy vengeance. It was like watching a storm blow through, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake, all driven by John's love for his family. He didn't care about the consequences, legal or moral. Revenge and saving Beth were all that mattered to him. Speaking of finales, remember when John Dutton got shot? Yes, it all went down in the Season 3 finale, The World is Purple. He was just trying to help someone on the road when, bam! Out of nowhere, masked bad guys started shooting. Fans were so freaked out, wondering if John was going to make it. He was hit several times, and it was just chaos. He tried to fight back, but the odds were totally against him. Plus, his phone was ruined, and he was stuck in the middle of nowhere with no way to call for help. The buzz was all about who was behind it. Nobody knows because the attackers were all masked and silent. But John has a long list of people who wouldn't mind seeing him 6 feet under, like the Beck brothers, Rainwater, and some big shot business folks. And get this, at the same time, his daughter Beth's office went boom, and his son Casey had his own share of gun trouble. It looked like someone headed out for the whole Dutton family. But you know, in the middle of all the chaos, John still played the hero. He literally used his body as a shield to save a family from the bullets. Despite being outnumbered and injured, he stepped up, showing how brave and kind he really was. Fans were in awe of John's bravery and were left with bated breath, wondering who was after the Duttons and what was going to happen next. Also, Season 3's premiere of Yellowstone, You're the Indian Now, threw us all for a loop. So, Jamie Dutton, John's adopted son and big shot attorney, was dating this girl, Christina. Surprise, surprise, she's expecting. But twist, she didn't want the baby. Yep, adoption was her plan, but Jamie, he's torn, you know? He wanted to be a dad, but also didn't want to lose his cool job and power. Now, John found out some wild stuff. Turns out, Jamie's real dad was a killer. John steps in, trying to play the wise dad card, convincing Jamie to keep the baby. He's all like, you can start fresh, new family, new legacy, and assured him of his support and love. But what's jaw-dropping is, John kept the whole killer dad story a secret. Even wilder, he already set the adoption papers with Christina, but kept Jamie in the dark. Fans' mouths were hanging open seeing John play puppeteer with Jamie's life. We knew he liked to be in control, but this was next level. He showed Jamie love but didn't respect his choices. He allowed Jamie his career in law and politics, but didn't see eye to eye with his decisions. Even after keeping Jamie's adoption a secret, he apologized and reassured him of his love. But was it sincere? The shocker! John didn't care about what Jamie wanted. He imposed his own plans, hiding Jamie's real dad's story and manipulating the adoption story to seem like Jamie's idea. John was pulling all the strings. He even made Jamie believe it was his choice, using every trick in the book to make him adopt the baby, without any regard for what Jamie actually wanted or felt. John was all about keeping the Dutton name going. Jamie's happiness was secondary. It showed how far he could go, even deceive his own, to get what he wanted. Well, who knew one cowboy could stir up so much dust? John Dutton, with his ruthless ways and unexpected moves, certainly knows how to keep the world on its toes. Stay tuned, because in the wild, unpredictable world of the Dutton family, you never know what jaw-dropping drama might unfold around the next canyon bend. Let us know in the comments which one of these shocked you the most. And make sure to subscribe for more.